Hello and welcome to Shanghai for round 3 of the Xbox One F1 2016 ProFormula Racing Chinese Grand Prix. I'm your commentator, Hayden Gullis, and if you missed last week's Bahrain Grand Prix, then you can check out the card in the top right corner of your screens to go catch up there. And you can also get involved in some of the polls we have going on throughout the video, so don't forget to check those out. We're at the Shanghai International Circuit for this weekend's exciting Chinese Grand Prix. It was another pole and race win for Commentated 96 last season in a very dominant race for the two-time world champion. But that doesn't necessarily mean we will see the same today in qualifying. But before we get into that, let's head over to the practice report. Last week's practice session in Bahrain was a strangely clean one for the ProFormula Racing League. That didn't last long though, as the chaos returned here in Shanghai as Tom Satnav dived up the inside of Pepperoni into turn 6. But the Renault got a greater exit, and as both drivers moved into the middle of the track, it was the Red Bull that came off worse, hitting the barrier. And that wasn't the only incident Tom Satnav was involved in. This time, however, it included his teammate Fletcher 455. With Tom Satnav exiting the pits whilst Fletcher 455 went fastest, he was caught unaware of where his teammate would be and drove into the back of Tom Satnav into turn 1, breaking part of his front wing. It was Brobot 1994 who led the way in today's practice session, with Herminator 96 6/100ths of a second behind. However, Brobot was the only driver to set a lap on the softs, with all the other drivers bar Fletcher 455 on the mediums. Pigeon Chicken got a 4th in his return to the Racing League, beating both Red Bulls of Tom Satnav and Fletcher 455. 4 drivers failed to set a lap in practice today, including newcomer to the Racing League, Schilling. He will be looking for better across the weekend. That concludes today's practice report. Let's head into the qualifying session for the Chinese Grand Prix. Hello and welcome to today's qualifying session here at the Shanghai International Circuit for round 3, the Chinese Grand Prix. On board with the championship leader at the moment, Commentated 96, as he comes down to the start-finish line to start his first lap here in qualifying. As you can see on screens, he's currently running the soft tyres at the moment, so going for a bit of a different strategy compared to everyone else, seeing what sort of lap time he can set on these soft tyres, because the super softs, they do not last long in the race at all. Maybe about 4 laps, maybe 5 laps for Commentated 96 as Fletcher 455 has retired from the session, losing it on the run down towards turn 11, I believe that is. So not very good from Fletcher 455. Not too sure whether he has set a lap time or not, but judging by how early it is on in the session, I pretty much doubt that. So disappointing there for Fletcher 455. But getting back to what I was talking about, super soft tyres are terrible around this circuit. So if Commentated 96 can get a good position on these soft tyres, then he will be able to do very well in the races, and will definitely have the strategy on all of the other drivers. But getting back to his flying lap at the moment, going down in towards turn 11 right now. This is where Fletcher 455 lost it earlier on in the qualifying session, breaking at the 100 metre board there on the right hand side, although that has actually been removed. So Commentated 96 will be a little bit annoyed by whoever accidentally crashed into that 100 metre board. But going through turn 13 at the moment, you can see the Toro Rosso of Curtis just up ahead, but good sportsmanship from the Toro Rosso driver, getting out the way very early on, so that is nice to see in this race league. Commentated 96 on the run down in towards the turn 14 hairpin, braking between the 100 and the 150 metre boards, getting the car turned in very nice and tidy on the apex of turn 14, down in towards turn 15 and 6, no, this is turn 16, sorry, and nice and tidy so far. Yellow flag because B Green 10 was just up ahead, weaving a little bit, but across the line, it's not good enough for provisional pole position at the moment. 50 thousandths of a second separate Commentated 96 and B Green 10. We know it's close between these two across the whole season. However, they are on different tyres at this stage of qualifying. Here we are on board with Tom Satnav. Looks like he's about to start his first lap here in qualifying. There's 2 guys going side by side at the moment down in towards turn 1. And Tom Satnav going through the first corner. Schilling in his first qualifying session of the ProFormula Racing League, setting the purple lap at the moment, leading this session so far. So he's currently in provisional pole position. So it looked like Pigeon Chicken had run it wide in towards turn 1. I think Contesta also run it wide into turn 1 as well. And that's why Tom Satnav has caught up a massive chunk of time on the Ferrari driver, going down in towards turn 6 at the moment. Tom Satnav not really looking out for brake marker boards for him at the moment. He's just looking for the racing line that he has on screen right now. So here he is following Contesta, not taking the best of lines in towards turn 7. Usually, you know, you hold it out wide, you hit the apex, and you go back out wide again. Tom Satnav decided to go close in, then wide at the apex, and then close in on the exit of the corner. So not the best alliance here for Tom Satnav, and that's why he's losing so much time so far in this race. Because once again, somebody has gone off in towards turn 8, but Tom Satnav going down in towards turn 11 at the moment, locking up, maybe cutting the corner just a little bit, but he didn't actually gain any time from that because he overshot it as well. So going through the long turn 13 right now, getting it stuck on the curbs. You do not want to do that, as that will definitely lose you time on the curbs on the left-hand side, as well as Tom Satnav weaving the car all over the place on the exit of turn 13. That's going to lose him a lot of time in this qualifying session. Watching his lap, it's all about where he has lost time so far in the session. Braking for the turn 14 hairpin in towards this little kink of turn 15. It doesn't really count as a corner that you really have to brake for, but it does count in terms of circuit. In towards turn 16 at the moment, down towards the start finish line. What is the time from Tom Satnav? It's 1:42.917, only good enough to beat Pigeon Chicken and I think Fletcher 455, who is down in 10th place at the moment. So disappointing from Tom Satnav, but he has a lot of time left in the session and certainly has a lot more time to improve on that qualifying lap, as we are on board with the current world champion at the moment, going down in towards turn 1 for his second lap here in qualifying. He's currently down in 3rd position off that lap time on the soft tyres. Now currently running the super soft tyres, so he'll be looking to do a lot better here in qualifying. Be able to beat Schilling and B Green 10. But we're just going to have to wait and see how this lap goes. We know Herminator 96 only likes to run 1 lap on each set of tyres through qualifying, so he doesn't burn them too much in the race. Going down in towards turn 6, or missing the apex quite a bit there. He's currently 4 tenths up on his best time, and that's currently purple through sector 1, but missing the apex on turn 6 is going to cost him a bit of time. But nice and tidy through turn 7, getting close to the grass on turn 8, and that's going to lose him a lot of time as well, missing the apex completely through that corner. And in towards turn 9 and 10, once again missing the apex, hitting the apex for turn 10, but it's very easy to do so on that one. I think even Tom Satnav was able to hit the apex on that corner. Still purple though, 7 tenths quicker than his previous lap, thanks to being on these super soft tyres, so it definitely does help quite a lot. In towards the long turn 13 right now, showing Tom Satnav how it is done, staying away from both of the curbs and making sure that you don't lose the back end at all. Opening the DRS now and on the run down in towards turn 14. He'll be looking to get the car stopped absolutely perfectly down in towards this hairpin, which I think he has done. No, he's overshot it just a little bit, just missing the apex by a couple of meters, but it's not too bad for Herminator 96. I think he's still going to be on for a provisional pole unless he messes up this final lap, which he doesn't do. Down towards the start finish line. What's the time going to be good enough for? It's a 1:36.810. That's good enough for a provisional pole at the moment, and I definitely think there is a lot of improvement still on that lap from the current championship leader. So he can improve if he decides to go out for one more lap. There's 4 minutes left in the session for him, and now on board with Tom Satnav on his final lap here in qualifying with 41 seconds remaining in the session. So here he is going down in towards turn 1. Brobot is currently leaving and joining the session right now because of his bad internet issues, which we have experienced throughout round 1 and round 2 of the ProFormula Racing League so far. But here is Tom Satnav just going down into turn 2 and 3 at the moment. Then on the run down in towards 4. In towards turn 5, Herminator 96 retiring from the session now. So he's decided that he's had enough. He's done enough in this qualifying session, and he thinks he's put himself on pole. But we still have a lot of drivers out on track, so they can certainly do something here today to try and take that position away from him. Here we are still on board with Tom Satnav though, going through the last couple of corners. Qualifying is over, but all the drivers will still be able to set their final lap. Speed Green 10 has also retired from the session, thinking that he can do no better in this session so far. Tom Satnav a lot cleaner on this lap, maybe not the best lap that we have seen ever around this Chinese Grand Prix, but Tom Satnav a lot cleaner compared to what he was last time around, and currently 8 tenths quicker than his previous best after Sector 2. So he's doing well. Now it's 1.3 seconds quicker. So a good lap there for Tom Satnav so far. Maybe it could move him above Curtis, but he is still on the soft tyres, which is a bit strange from Tom Satnav. We were hoping to see him maybe try it on the super softs, but looking at where he lost the time on his last lap, he's now 3 seconds quicker on this one, going down into the hairpin. Has he got the car stopped in time? No, he hasn't. He's locked up quite a bit, but it's still 3 seconds faster than his previous best time. Haroni Pepperoni currently in 5th position. Can he improve on this lap? Yes, he can. 3rd position here in qualifying. A good lap there from the Renault drivers. Tom Satnav comes across the line, is 3 seconds quicker, but it's still not an improvement in terms of position. Holds 8th position here in qualifying, and can Pigeon Chicken move above him in this session? Coming down towards the final corner now, in towards turn 16, under braking. No, he runs it very wide in towards turn 16. Can he improve on his lap time though? No, he can't, and it's only good enough for 9th position in today's qualifying session. So let's go through the standing order for today's qualifying session. Herb86 lines up in pole position with the newcomer Schilling lining up alongside him in his McLaren. A great start to the ProFormula Racing League for the young German. Hironi Pepperoni lines up in 3rd place right behind the 2 front runners, and he has his teammate Brobot 1994 lining up alongside him. So his internet issues still allowed him to set a lap time, so he's going to be very, very happy with that. B Green 10 in the Ferrari is down in 5th position, followed by his teammate Contesta. So not the best of qualifying sessions from Ferrari. They would have been hoping to be further up, especially for B Green 10, who is in a championship battle with Herminator 96 right now. Looking further down the field, and Curtis in the Toro Rosso is currently lining up in 7th position on the super soft tyres. A good lap from him, beating the guys that he's sort of racing with at the moment. That includes Tom Satnav, who is in 8th position, lining up alongside him. And on the final row, we have Pigeon Chicken, who makes his return to the ProFormula Racing League, and Fletcher 455, who failed to set a lap time. So that is your starting grid. Well, it would be your starting grid for Wednesday's Chinese Grand Prix. However, we had a lot of difficulties after the qualifying session in the actual lobbies, with people disconnecting and trying to get everything set up how it was, that unfortunately we just had to go with a mock-up grid for the race, because it just took so long once A2 Cheese D2 came in, that it just took so long to try and get everybody back into their actual positions, and we kept on messing it up. So it took so long, so we just decided to go with a mock and a completely refreshed grid for the Chinese Grand Prix. So qualifying, unfortunately, wasn't exactly important, but you can see where everybody should sort of be in terms of the race. But it's going to be exciting, especially where everybody lines up in the new grid format. So looking at the new starting grid for Wednesday's Chinese Grand Prix, Schilling has moved up a position into pole right at the front of the grid. So he has had a very, very lucky new qualifying session, getting up into the lead. And Contesta is another big gaining, moving up from, I think it was 6th position up into 2nd, so he's definitely going to be very, very happy with that. Another mover was B Green 10. He moves up into 3rd, much better compared to where he actually qualified down in, I think it was 5th position. Hironi Pepperoni loses out 1 position down to 4th, but a big loss was Herminator 96, who was supposed to start the race in pole position, but will now be starting down in 5th. So a bit disappointed for him, but it'll be exciting to see how he manages to get through the field. Curtis was another move, and he will line up alongside Herminator 96 in 6th position, and he still has Tom Satnav behind him in 7th place. Brobot 1994, another guy to lose out massively. He qualified in 4th position in the actual qualifying session, but unfortunately has been moved out into 8th after getting everybody moved about. A2 Cheese D2 has joined us for Wednesday's race, and he has luckily been moved up into 9th position, so not starting at the back of the grid where he should be. He has been very, very lucky and very fortunate to be pushed up into 9th place. And we have Pigeon Chicken in 10th and Fletcher 455 in 11th, exactly where those two guys were actually in qualifying, with the exception of A2 Cheese D2 moving above them. So that is your actual starting grid for Wednesday's Chinese Grand Prix. Sorry about a little bit of a mix-up and a lot of change from what actually happened in qualifying, but it'll be exciting to see how everybody sort of sorts out and gets into what should be their actual positions, like Herminator 96 getting into sort of the lead of the race. If he can do that, if he can match his race performance with his qualifying performance, then that would be very, very exciting to see. And someone like Brobot as well make his way through the field, getting past Tom Satnav, Curtis, and Contesta, and B Green 10 as well, who should be faster than after what we saw in the qualifying session. But that is it for today's practice and qualifying sessions. Thank you very much for watching, and join me on Wednesday the 2nd of November for the race here at the Chinese Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.